Good morning. It is Kong Yu with you live in the studios of Tracks FM for today's What Matters. And today's What Matters is going to focus in on, you guessed it, in case you've been paying attention in the previous hour of the show as well. We're talking about a personal guide to income tax. Right, we're going to touch on the filing for this year, which is officially for last year. And we're going to have a little bit of a clue in as to some insights into what to expect for this year's filing as well. That is due, of course, next year. Yeah? First up, welcoming into the studios of Tracks FM, my guests for today, Mohamad Nazri, Mohamad Nazri.
Mohamad Nasir, Mohamad Nazri.
Oh, excuse me. Mohamad Nasir, Mohamad Nazri, Deputy Public Relations of Hasil Careline from the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia. Thank you so much for coming into the show. Good morning.
Welcome.
Okay. How's everything so far? How have you been so far throughout the MCO and into the new normal?
For your information, for the MCO, we from Hasil Careline, we still working.
Yep.
Since 18th of March up until now.
Wow, good stuff, right? And thanks so much for putting in the work as well as...
Thank you.
How's the new normal going for you?
The new normal for us in Hasil Careline, we just follow all the SOP underlined by the ministry. Because we're working since day one of MCO, so it's still normal for us to help Malaysian, because the question asked for us is actually the same, and a lot of people working from home even, and we receive a normal statistic of caller.
Okay, so the care line is the helpline lah.
Yeah.
Right, of the IRB, and it's been around for quite a while, isn't it?
Yes. Quite a while, and I believe it's almost 15 years already.
All right. And it's a line that you can call in for any questions regarding to taxation.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Any of it.
All right. And you just basically call in, it's a helpline, and you wait for your turn.
Yeah.
Someone will attend to you, and that's something that, in case you have not tapped into yet, because I think the MCO made us realize that there are a lot of facilities that we don't utilize or we have not mobilized ourselves to use. And then we realized that it's much better to do that when we have to, it's much more efficient to operate remotely and all that. Of course, video calling and video calls and sessions and meetings and all that.
Everything is online now.
Correct. So hopefully, the IRB will also have a facility where you can meet with the officer via video calls and all that.
We do, but depending on the cases lah.
More so that when it's a case that it's already active, right?
Yeah.
And it needs also face-to-face.
In terms of auditing and whatnot, that we do the video call after this.
Okay, nice. Okay, so back to what we're talking about today, which is basically the taxation, issues and all that. First of all, the deadline. We talk about the personal filing.
Yes.
It's a big reminder for everyone. 30th June.
30th of June, just around corner. I believe, I think another 6 more days.
Correct. Yes, so that's one. Since you're here, we have just take the opportunity to remind our listeners right now about this. And then also for the extension for online filing, that's still the same?
Yes.
The leeway for that, yeah?
Still the same, using the e-filing application.
And then similarly for those who are running a business, those are also similarly extended?
Yes.
Okay, what are those deadlines again?
For the business or self-employed taxpayers, the deadline is actually already extended from 30th of June, because they are early on, they are 30th of June. Correct. And we extend up until 31st of August.
Okay.
For those who have employment income, from 30th of April, then now we extend up until 30th of June.
Okay, so keep in mind, if you are employed, then your deadline is coming up very soon.
Yes.
Okay. But in terms of the initiatives, that have been announced by the government, for example, the Penjana Recovery Plan in the recovery mode of MCO, let's talk a little bit about that. And in lieu with any taxation issues that you can remind and highlight for us.
Okay. Regarding the those what we call Penjana in the Penjana programs, the Prime Minister already highlight those tax exempted issues and whatnot. I believe that one we need to talk later, because that one will be used on 2020 declaration.
Okay.
So as for now, we from Laga Hasil now we take that information as our input, so that we're waiting for the any specific guideline from our ministry to go further in terms of how the how Malaysian to claim that thing as their relief or exemptions later on.
Okay, so that's being worked out. But generally, I would assume that if it was a relief, that's that's sort of to aid us
Yes.
as the rakyat over this period, that should be deductible, right?
Yes, correct.
Right.
It's
So-
deductible. It's just that, as what we mentioned before, as from Nasir, we would like to advise Malaysian, whatever you want to claim under the Penjana program, please keep all the documents and record so that you may use that to claim later on 2020
Okay.
declaration.
Okay, so in general, that is the fundamental two things. By the way, just a quick little announcement that we are live on Facebook now as well at Tracks FM Official, if you'd like to join us there.
Yes.
If you have a question for Nasir as well, feel free to post in the comment section. All right, awesome stuff. We are at Tracks FM Official on Facebook live now. Yeah, let's talk about the other details. Can you share with us some of the exemption, let's say for filing that's due this year? I wouldn't imagine that there would have any changes per se, except for the deadline, right? But what is it officially?
Okay, for the tax exemption, is it? So tax exemption, there's a lot of tax exemption offered by the government. So we may refer, I think Malaysia need to listen carefully during the budget announcement every year.
Correct.
So during the budget announcement, instead of the special like MCOs and whatnot, so the Prime Minister already highlighted certain exemption regarding the tax. So we have a lot of it. So especially the employer is actually, I believe they're supposed to be noted about these exemptions. So this exemption, what we call tax exemption, is actually certain of their income. There are a lot of income received by the individual. So certain of their income is actually not to be calculated as statutory income that can be considered and need to calculate it to be taxable. So meaning to say, in terms of EA form, so I believe everybody know about EA form or EC form. So in the EA form, at the section F over there, so there's a part that's stating your income that are not taxable, meaning you get exemption on that. Okay, so one of it, I think I might highlight certain of it lah.
Okay.
So traveling allowance. So if let's say the particular employees want to claim the petrol, then want to claim the toll and whatnot. So if they are given the allowance, or even they want to claim, if they are using that allowances for the official duties, they will get exemption up until 6,000 ringgit. So if the company even give them telephone allowance, so the telephone allowance we get 100%. Only for one device and one line. So if you, especially in KL, certain of the companies give parking allowance, in fact, because certain building, they don't even have parking and whatnot. So they give parking allowance so that the staff can park, in the parking area and whatnot. So parking allowance get 100% allowance as well. Meal allowance for those manufacturing companies and whatnot, they give meal allowance to the staff, get 100% allowance as well. So as long as they give the same meal allowance to the every employee.
Okay.
So transportation, if they want to give award to the staff, even long service award, so innovation awards, so any good service award, those awards can exempted up until 2,000 ringgit as well. So I guess there's a lot of exemption that you may go straight to our website www.hasil.gov.my and you may refer at our what we call ketetapan umum over there.
Okay.
So you may read all that and you may see what are the tax exemption that we offered.
Okay. Now, just for completeness' sake, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Are there any at all in terms of extra allowances besides, of course, the deadline that's being deferred due to the current, the past few months that we've had, the MCO and all that? Are there any additional allowance? I know these taxes are actually for 2019.
Yes.
For all the revenue that's received then. But are there any changes at all?
Meaning for 2019, is
That's
it?
right, yes.
No.
In lieu of what's been happening this past 3-4 months.
No, because the income is already received by the employee 2019. So now they have to, according to the law, then you have to declare 2020 lah.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear, right? In case you've been wondering as well, if you're listening out there and all that. Yeah. Quick hello to Patricia Lim, Bill Werman, and Zamha as well. For joining us on Facebook Live. We are live now on Facebook. For completeness sake, exemptions overall, right? This is basically to reduce the amount taxable, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you explain to us, in general, what they're for, and in any general categories if we've not covered that already?
So that one, we call it as tax deduction or tax relief, so that you can get, you can reduce your taxable incomes. So from the taxable income, that we will times by the tax rate, then only we get the tax amount. Okay, as for your tax relief, there's a lot of reliefs as well.
Correct.
So if we can go to our website even, so as for year of assessment 2019, we have around 21 of tax relief. So first, I think typically Malaysia as a resident in Malaysia, you will get 9,000 ringgit. So if you have spouse and your spouse is not working, you will get 4,000 ringgit tax relief. And if you have children, we have if you have children below 18, we have 2,000 ringgit tax relief. If they are above 18 and continue studies in higher education, they will get 8,000 ringgit tax relief. So a part of that, so if you are working in the private sector, you have EPF, right? So EPF will get 4,000 ringgit tax relief. So this is a new thing in 2019 because previously 2018 and below, and the EPF is actually the same with the life insurance. So we give 6,000 ringgit for both of it. So now we separate it. So EPF is 4,000. Life insurance we get 3,000 if you have life insurance. If you have medical insurance or even education insurance, they will get 3,000 tax relief. Okay, those things that I can highlight. So there's a lot of it. 21 tax relief. I would suggest and advise listeners go straight to our website and read through at the tax relief in Lembaga Hasil.
Complete list of that, and I believe as well, correct me if I'm wrong, the relief for gadgets.
Yes,
so
that one is under lifestyle.
Right,
yes,
right. So that one in particular, that's been in place for the past 1-2 financial years, essentially. So make sure you catch up on those. Meanwhile, we're going to take a very quick breather for What Matters today. Speaking to my guest today, Mohamad Nazri, Deputy Public Relations from the Hasil Care Line of the Inland Revenue Board, Malaysia, right here on What Matters. We'll be back in a few moments. So keep it right here on the show.
Experience the excitement right here on Tracks FM.
With more than 500 species of flora and fauna.
It's Southeast Asia's only tropical spice garden.
Visit Penang 98.7.
Tracks FM.
Welcome back to What Matters. It's Kong Yu with you live in the studios of Tracks FM. And also, this, I believe, is my first Facebook Live in our temporary studios right now. You may see certain logos on the wall that might not be pertinent, but that's okay, right? Because it's a brand new vibe here. And I hope you enjoy a different experience looking into our Facebook Live sessions, at least in the next coming weeks or so, I've been speaking to my special guest today, Mohamad Nasir Nazri,
Yes.
Deputy Public Relations of the Hasil Care Line of IRB Malaysia. We're talking about tying up the income tax ends, especially since we've got one major deadline happening on 30th June, right? And then the second one on 31st August, depending on how you file, speaking of filing, and there's number one, the convenience of filing online has been around for the past 5-6 years, I believe.
Since 2012.
More than that. So if you're not already done that, that is always a wonderful way to do that. Do that online, and you also still get an exemption and a bit of an extension if you choose to do it online.
Previously, yes. So as for the MCO period, then we get until 30th of June.
Okay, so besides those two, manual filing, which not encouraged these days, right? Because of the paperwork that's involved. Online filing, is there any other way to do it?
To file the undeclared tax. So I think starting 2019, we from RBM, we encourage people to declare their tax using online platform, meaning our e-filing application, because that one is quite easy, accurate, and is secured. So for the e-filing part, it's quite easy. So I would suggest everyone, so in order to use the e-filing, if you have the tax reference number, you may check with us whether you have the PIN number or not. So you may go to any nearest branch of Lembaga Hasil throughout Malaysia to get the PIN number. So once you get the PIN number, then please register online, create your own password and whatnot. Then you may straight declare your tax using e-filing.
Okay.
So that one is quite easy. And our staff in from counter basis in any branch, they will help as well. And previously, before the MCO period, we do open e-filing counter. And for the MCO period, because of the SOP and whatnot, so if there is any issues or any help coming from the taxpayers, how to how to declare or how to use the e-filing and whatnot, the staff will help in the counter.
Yeah, always useful. Just contact them, right? When it comes to taxes, sometimes people have this fear of anything to do with taxation. Usually, it's because they have something to hide. So just be transparent. That's probably the best way. In fact, I think that is the best way to handle all matters when it comes to taxation. So those help. Going online definitely helps, and high time to do so if you're still relying on paper filing. I have to say that based on experience, and also my dad also had a bit of issue with this recently. Make sure you disable the pop-up blocker.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's very important, right? So make sure you handle that. If not, it will get in the way of the smooth, especially the submission.
Yes,
I
correct.
don't know if you guys have heard about that. That's what I realized as well. I've had some issues. My dad has some issues with that recently. Yeah, a couple of comments here I wanted to check with you. Okay, so first out, shout out to Hazwan as well as Diana. Zamba Ismail says the separation of KWSP and life insurance actually reduced my claim from LHDN. I used to be able to apply for maximum total just from KWSP. Now I have to rely on giving money to insurance companies.
Meaning to say if
It's the split allocation, I think.
because it's 4,000, previously 6,000. Maybe Miss Asdiana using 6,000 allocation.
Zamha, yep.
So because of the sum up of it, so certain people they do have the life insurance. So I think life insurance is still considered another what we call tax relief or for the administration lah.
Okay, all right. So I mean, that's part of it, right? Speaking of taxes are basically the revenue, right, for the government.
Yes.
So as to make and administer the entire country, isn't it?
Correct.
Right. So that's how. I mean, it's very important, isn't it?
It's very important. During the MCO period, the government have all the nations using the Bantuan Prihatin, right?
Yeah.
Bantuan Prihatin National, the Grant Khas Prihatin, they want all from the tax payment contributed by Malaysian. So now we would like to encourage Malaysian again to declare their income and pay their tax. So that one we consider helping Malaysian, those especially those in need lah.
So you should, in a way, like I said, sometimes in the older times for lack of a better word, there's always like this a little bit of a fear, a little bit of like, okay, I'm going to have my income removed as a chunk of taxes, all that. But you have to remember that it is for a particular reason. It's for the administration of the country. It's very important.
Maybe I can add up. Do not say that you are afraid to declare, because we from Lembaga Hasil actually is very important to declare your income. Part of paying the tax even is declaration of your income is very important to us, so that we can categorize how many Malaysian is under B40 group, M40 group and all. So after you have the tax reference number, we consider you that you have the what we call statutory obligation,
right?
So that you are responsible to declare your income to Lembaga Hasil. So how to declare your income? Like I said, you have to do it e-filing and then declare your income. So I think declarations of income is quite easy. So certain of them already deducted under monthly tax deduction, or we know about PCB, right? So on the PCB, I believe because you are eligible to get the deduction. So once you have the MTD, we don't know. MTD is actually meant for your estimation tax, not the final tax yet. So once you declare your income, then only we know your final tax. So after getting to know your final tax, then only we know that if your final tax is actually lesser than the total amount of your MTD, so your PCB, then we will give refund to you straight away, because that one is part of your money. Part of it, we can say that you save your money in RRB lah.
Right. So it's very important to do that, and also as a way of registering, like I said, your your status in a way, so that in lieu of something that has happened recently, the MCO due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's when if you are deserving of assistance from the government, it will be based on that.
Yes,
Right?
correct.
That's what, and then that's the easiest and most convenient way for you to actually get back any sort of a relief or assistance from the government as well.
Correct.
Because through the official file bank account, for example,
Yes.
is where you get that credit.
Correct.
And I think many people had some issues with that because they weren't officially registered, or maybe they're not consistently updated their personal
Correct.
information with IRB. So that helps doing a accounting of it every single year
Okay.
via the official tax filing. Right. So speaking of which, what's the best way to get in touch with IRB over on nowadays? We spoke about some of the methods in the earlier part of the interview, but let's recap.
Okay.
Right.
So I think the easiest way, you may call us if you don't want to go out during the MCO period. You may call us straight 0389111000 at Hasil K line. So I believe the line is quite busy. Everybody know that because that line is actually a lot of Malaysian calling us. So a part of that line, I would like to stress on that we do have Facebook as well. We do have Twitter as well from LSJNM. Next, we do have Hasil live chat as well. So you may use the Hasil chat to get in touch with us. A part of it, you can go straight to any nearest branch of Lembaga Hasil to get further information from our officers over the counter. And if you want to read further a lot of information straight from our MOF and whatnot, you may go straight to our official portal www.hasil.gov.my.
Okay, those are all the official ways you can get in touch with the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia.
Yes.
For time has just flown by. Before I let you go and conclude the interview, what other key messages you'd like to share with fellow Malaysians?
Okay. The key messages I would say about the tax relief again. So as for the tax relief, I would suggest Malaysian to keep all the received document or any records of what you want to claim later on. So please keep it. And we at Lembaga Hasil, we do receive either it is in electronic form, soft copy, or even in the hard copy ways. So please keep all those records for 7 years as according to our act. So after claiming that, then only you can get any refund of your PCB and whatnot.
Okay.
So after that, then what I can share now. Let's click Hasil, and please do not declare on the last minute, and do your part. And we're going to do our part as Lembaga Hasil on behalf of MOF later on. Okay. Do contact us later, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, and thank you to my special guest today, Mohamad Nazri, who is a Deputy Public Relations guy from Hasil Caroline of IRB Malaysia. And thank you for tuning in or watching us live on Facebook. We appreciate it. That's a wrap for What Matters, today, Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. Good morning.